الله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري إن الساعة آتية أكاد أخفيها لتجزى كل نفس بما تسعى فلا يصدنك عنها من لا يؤمن بها واتبع هواه فتردى وما تلك بيمينك يا موسى قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى قال ألقها يا موسى فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى قال خذها ولا تخف سنعيدها سيرتها الأولى واضمم يدك إلى جناحك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء آية أخرى لنريك من آياتنا الكبرى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Taha, we are reading the story of Sayyidina Musa ala Nabiyina alayhi salatu wassalam, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. This ayah we read last time as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that I have chosen you. So all Anbiya, they are chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody can get nubuwwat by anything that they do. Somebody becomes very pious, somebody is very elaborate, very eloquent, somebody has done a lot of work for deen, they cannot become a Nabi. No matter what we do, we cannot become a Nabi. Nobody can become a Nabi. And after the Prophet ﷺ, there will be nobody even chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to become any further Nabi. But even before the Prophet ﷺ, whoever became Nabi, they were chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By none of their doing, by none of their earning, could anybody become a Nabi. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent wahi to them. And in this wahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. I have chosen you, which means that I have made you my prophet. فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. Listen to what is revealed to you. And Fastami' means that listen carefully, listen with your full attention. And this is the etiquette of listening to wahi. Even when you are listening to the Quran, which is also wahi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the hadith or the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which are also wahi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should listen to it very intently, with a lot of concentration, even if we don't understand it. The effect is that because of this respect, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates good feelings and nur within our hearts, and also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us the understanding. Then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this wahi, we had read these ayat last time, so I'll just go over the ma'arif. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and establish salah for the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, there's a hadith mentioned in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that salah which is prayed before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where the attention is somewhere else, that salah is thrown back at the face of the person who is praying like an old worn out piece of clothing. So it is very important that we constantly struggle to keep our focus, our attention in salah, and there's ways to do that. Some of the easier ways that are practical for everybody, and we can pick the one that suits us best. Whatever we recite, we should learn the meanings of it and focus towards the meanings of what we are reciting. Also, another way is that before we start salah and during salah, we constantly remind ourselves that I am standing before my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted me one more prayer, one more chance to get my forgiveness, and I will not be allowed to do any more ibadat after this. This is my last ibadah, so I have to do it in my best way so that I can get my maghfirah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another way is that when we are praying, whatever part of salah we are in, we focus on that part of salah and forget about the rest of salah even. We say that we are standing, now this is my complete salah, this is my salah, this is what I am doing, and focus on the standing. Then when we are ruku, think about the ruku, do not even think about the sajda. Then when we do sajda, then think about sajda itself. And constantly keep reminding ourselves that I am standing before my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I am reciting the Quran, Allah is very intently listening to my recitation. When I am doing sajda, when I am doing my ruku, Allah is looking at me. Another permissible way is that we imagine that we are standing right in front of the Kaaba and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me to pray 2 rakat or 4 rakat or whatever. Any of these methods, some of these work better for some people and others for other people. When somebody does all these things, the method to not forget about hereafter, which is inna sa'ata atiyatun akadu ukhfiha litujza kullu nafsin bima tas'a fala yasuddannaka anha man la yu'minu biha. The disbelievers will constantly try and make their effort, whatever is within their control, to make you forget about the hereafter and get busy with this dunya. Forget about the hereafter and engage with this dunya as much as possible. So the fitna for this ummah as well is not that people would come to us and say that stop saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. They would say we are fine with who you are, we accept you. But the environment would be made such that we would forget about the hereafter and consider the benefit of this world, the real benefit, and the loss and harm of this world, temporary one in reality, but we'll consider it the real loss. This will be the effort of kufr all along. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam about this, that do not let any of the disbelievers make you forget about the hereafter. Then we'll read the ayat tonight that we read. وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا Musa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, what is it in your right hand, O Musa? قَالَ هِيَ عَصَاي. He said, it is my staff. Asa is a sunnah of Anbiya. Asa is a walking stick or any sort of stick that a person leans on or uses for walking or just keeps in their hand for protection and other stuff. All of these things, the walking stick or the staff is for those purposes. It's a sunnah of all Anbiya to keep asa, and our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam also, when he was young, he still kept asa with him. He still kept a staff with him, so it's a sunnah of Anbiya. Then Allah only asked him, what is in your right hand? The answer could have been, this is my staff. But because he felt the attention from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he wanted to make the most of it, he started and gave some more detail because he was in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we are talking to your beloved, you find opportunity to talk with them even more. So Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, with that spirit, gave some other detail which was not even asked about. From this we learned that sometimes when a question is being answered, it is permissible to give some other detail, but first answer the question, then give some other detail if necessary. This is what Hazrat Musa alayhi salam is doing. قَالَ هِيَ عَصَاي. First thing he says, it is my staff. What is it? It is my staff. أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not ask, but he is telling him that, Ya Allah, I أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam says that, Ya Allah, this is my staff, I lean on it. This is for my support. I take support from it. وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي. And I beat down leaves with it for my sheep. My goats, my sheep, whatever I take for grazing, I hit the trees and the leaves fall down for my animals. وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. Now, respect demands that we also keep it concise. So he, instead of mentioning every single little tiny thing that he did with his staff, then he finally said, وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى, and I have many other uses for it. قَالَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلْقِهَا يَا Musa. Throw it down, Ya Musa, O Musa. فَأَلْقَاهَا. He put it down, he threw it down. فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى. It became alive and running around. And in other places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, in different places in the Quran, at one place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it became Jan. Jan with a shadda on noon means a small, quickly moving snake. And another place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called it Thu'ban, which is a great, huge snake. So the ulama have said that the way it happened was that the staff turned to a quick moving snake and then it kept on growing and became a big snake. But still, it was particular that generally big snakes don't move very fast. This snake used to move very fast. قَالَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ. Pick it up and do not be scared. سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتَهَا الْأُولَى. So we shall restore it to its former state. So this was the first mu'jiza or miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Second one, وَضْمُمْ يَدَكَ إِلَى جَنَاحِكَ. Press your hand under your arm. تَخْرُجْ. Then bring it out. تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء. When you do so, it will come out بيضاء من غير سوء. It will come out shining brightly. And the ulama have written that it came out shining like the sun. It was hard to look at it. من غير سوء, without any pain, any disease. ayatan ukhra. This is the second sign. This is another sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to him. Linuriyaka min ayatin al-kubra, so that we may show you some of our great signs. So all Anbiya, they are given some miracles, some mu'jizat. The real doer about mu'jizat, miracles and extraordinary things that might happen at the hands of another pious person, they may not be Anbiya. All of them, the real doer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to have the correct belief about it. The doer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is only shown at the hands of a Nabi, or in the case of a karamat, it is shown at the hands of a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The real doer is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do not have any perfect control over it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him these signs, idhab ila fir'aun innahu tagha, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, go to Fir'aun. He has really exceeded all bounds. He's really going beyond boundaries. So go and call him towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He could have told Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and all the Anbiya there for that matter, without any mu'jizat, without any help. He could have just told him or them to go to the treacherous oppressing opponent and call them towards deen. But it is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the Anbiya certain signs so that it becomes easier for the people to believe in that prophet, that he has something which impresses people, so that people can understand that this is someone special chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We inshallah continue reading about this tomorrow. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين امين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين.